Welcome back to Naptime Sports Talk Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to our latest episode. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to Naptime Sports Talk Podcast. We are fresh off the Minnesota Vikings' first victory of the season versus the Chicago Bears from Monday Night Football, taking the victory 27-24 in a very exciting fashion. Not going to lie, at the start of the fourth quarter, I was a little nervous and anticipating our first loss of the year, but they persevered, they kept pushing, kept battling, and came away with a win on Monday Night Football. DC is back with me today. DC, how you doing? How you feeling after that Minnesota Vikings victory?
I'm doing really good. I think my blood pressure is finally low from last night. I'm feeling good. It's a good Tuesday. Be happy for a Vikings victory. Yeah, and it was nail biter last night. Starting off kind of rough, then we just picked it up in the fourth quarter and all that stuff. Just a typical Viking Bear game, always down to at least the last score, touchdown or 3 points. So
yeah, for sure. It definitely was a tale of four quarters because the first two quarters was pretty rough offensively. He had the pass to Naylor at the end of the second quarter to put us in the field goal range, and then Reichert hit that money 59-yard field goal, which was awesome. That was probably the highlight of the half, but we definitely started off slow. I just went over, I took some notes during the game just to kind of remember everything that took place in the first half, and I kind of stopped taking notes there late in the third quarter because I was kind of getting a little bummed out. But my notes, we can just break it down. So first quarter, said the Bears' first drive was impressive. Williams making plays and extending plays with his legs, which he did all night. He was pretty elusive in the pocket, made it difficult for us to bring him down, and continued to extend plays, like I said. And then the Vikes, 3-and-out the first drive. And then the second drive, another 3-and-out, which was unfortunate for them to come out that way. And then, on those third downs, McCarthy scrambles a little bit, but gets hit and kind of tripped up in the middle of the pocket there. So, yeah, it was definitely, the first quarter was really uneventful on offense. Bears came right out and had that very nice opening drive right off the bat. But the defense settled in, and they kept us in it for the rest of the game. And, hey, we came away with a victory. So, but overall, if we go to the third quarter when McCarthy threw that pick six, at that point I was like, oh, man, this is looking doom and gloom here tonight. But he persevered. He kept going, and I was just super impressed with his ability to keep battling. I feel like a lot of young quarterbacks kind of get down and out, but he just kind of has that different mentality where it seems like when things happen, he doesn't get too high or doesn't get too low, kind of keeps even keeled, which I was super impressed with. And, he kind of showed that in college a lot. And I'm glad that he still has that same mentality going forward. So he really killed it in the fourth quarter. Obviously, it just wasn't him. I felt like, our offense started getting going with the run game. We struggled to run the football in the first half. They started getting Jordan Mason the ball more, which helped, him going north and south, which I think he should be RB1 at this point. And Aaron Jones kind of has a different role out of the backfield. Obviously, Aaron Jones making that crucial touchdown catch there in the end zone for our second touchdown of the game, which ended up having us take the lead in the fourth quarter. But, yeah, so just super impressed with McCarthy in general. Like I said, his ability to keep going, keep battling. And it just wasn't on him. It was a whole team effort, obviously. Another guy that stood out a lot to me was Eric Wilson last night on defense. He came in when Blake Cashman went out with that hamstring injury, and he was super impressive as well. And then Miles Price, he killed it on the return game. He put us in some nice right, put us into have some good field position off of some punts, and then Ty Chandler made a tremendous play, taking that ball to the backfield, or not the backfield, but out of the end zone, and to get the clock down below the 2-minute warning. So I loved how they showed the video of him looking over on the sideline, seeing KLC, and KLC's waving him coming up. So that was cool to see. But yeah, overall, we turned it on in the fourth quarter, and I'm excited to see what we can do Sunday night versus Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, you nailed everything on the coffin there. I think both defense played great. Chicago came out firing in the first half, and like we we're pretty much didn't have nothing going on the first 5 drives of the first half. Like it was like two or three, 3-and-outs. McCartney got sacked like 3 or 4 times. He did escape from that one sack, but did lost of 2 yards. Other stuff. So he was moving around the pocket on that. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, like both defenses played like great, and and uh and yeah, so like in like the second half, I think after that pick six that McCartney got him, I think that woke him up a little bit. He got
Yeah, for sure.
he got that dog in him and everything.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then the other thing is, I think in the first half, him and KOC, I don't think they were really in sync with each other like that.
Yeah.
I think Mark Carney was just trying too hard like that.
Well, I kind of think that KOC was kind of putting the training wheels a little bit on him,
Yeah,
kind of like not going full blow for full blow with his offense. He was kind of easing him into it, and then eventually when he started to call more KOC plays that we've seen in the past, it started clicking, and McCarthy definitely had got the rhythm going. So it was good to see. But yeah, for sure, I think KOC just was maybe a little hesitant to kind of give it the full offense right away, but he trusted him in the fourth quarter, and hey, I guess the best way to take those training wheels off and see what you got, and he was impressive. So, you know, hey, we still a long season. We have many games left to play, so we'll do a final evaluation on JJ's first season later on. But the first half, if you're looking at the first half, a lot of people I bet were pretty pissed off and thinking the sky was falling already on the Vikings. So glad they hung in there, and they found a way to come out with that victory.
yeah. Like I saw a couple of things on social media, and I gotta repeat what people say because some of these
Yeah,
people
I
are
stay off of that during the
like some
games.
people they're just they think they know what they're doing, but they don't. But
Hmm.
I think what hurt Chicago the most through the whole game, it was their penalties. They
Yeah.
had like
Oh, for sure.
12 penalties for like, almost 130 yards and
Yeah.
and everything
Yeah, it was a lot of penalties.
and everything I think the Vikings did pretty good with the penalties. I think they had like 4 or 5 penalties for like 30 yards and all that stuff and everything.
Yeah, you know what? There was a couple questionable calls probably against us or Chicago that probably maybe shouldn't have been thrown, but as I said that to someone else, I was like, "Hey, that happens in every game, so you gotta take it. Like, can't let the refs beat you either." So Chicago had many opportunities in that game to put us out, and they just kind of left us hanging. And hey, that's what happens when you leave football or good football teams hanging around. They find ways to come back and win games. So I definitely think that that had a huge outcome of the game for sure
See,
with all those penalties.
see what I liked about McCarthy, especially like the second half, is he moved around the pocket and he moved around, especially with that nice like 16-yard run. Like we haven't seen a
Hmm.
quarterback run like that in how many years? Like people were probably in shock to see McCartney run for a touchdown like that.
Well, he was a good runner in college, but for the Vikings, we probably haven't seen that athletic of a runner since probably Josh Dobbs was in there rushing or running around the field. And the nice thing with that call on that touchdown was it was a read option play. So he faked it inside to the running back and pulled it. And I don't think the Bears were expecting that. I think that was kind of a shock. So we'll see how teams will defend that moving forward
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens. So
See, like I think the best player on the offside of the ball on the offense side of the ball, besides JJ, was Mason. Mason had
yeah.
heck a heck of a game. Like I totally agree with you. He should be RB1. And mix Jones
Hmm.
in there with the package. Mason is just a lot more better runner than he is, and he likes to run people over and everything. And it was nice to get JJ in there too. Yeah, he didn't have like his spectacular game he had, but he had a um that has that touchdown, so it was nice to see him get on the board.
Yeah, definitely. Aaron Jones uh, stepped up when we needed him to big time, and he made some crucial plays down the stretch. But I agree. Yeah, I think Jordan Mason for sure should be that starting running back going forward. You know, you could just see how more just the rhythm of the offense changed completely when he was rushing the ball and out there on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then overall, I thought Chicago looked pretty good too. Obviously, they've killed themselves a lot of those penalties. Thought Caleb Williams looked better this year, so we'll see how they continue. Defensively, I thought they were pretty stout for majority of the game, and then towards the end, obviously, just kind of giving up some big plays and had a pretty bad fourth quarter there. But also, they were missing Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, who are arguably two of the best corners in the NFL too. So that was a big hit for them. But we were also missing some guys too. Darisaw on the offensive line, left tackle, that didn't help for sure. I thought Scully or Justin School, however you say his name, he kind of struggled, I would say, for the most part. So I'm excited to see what we can do when Darisaw comes back. But I guess big if we maybe can do like a different segment of what was your biggest surprise of the game. My biggest surprise of the game would have been probably the limited usage to with Adam Thielen out there. So I thought he would have been a little better. He didn't. He caught the ball in that 2-point conversion, but he didn't even have a catch recorded during the game. So that doesn't go down as a stat, a 2-point conversion play. So I was kind of shocked about that. I was expecting a little more from him. And the fact that we won the game with Justin Jefferson only having 44 yards. And then if you look at our total offensive of numbers, it was let's see here. So total offense, we put up 254 yards. The Bears put up 317. Time of possession, 32 minutes to 27 minutes. So the way our defense hung in there and made it last the whole game was pretty impressive too, especially how often they were put out on the football field.
Yeah, like Chicago outplayed us all 3 quarters
For sure.
of the game last night. Vikings finally woke up in the fourth, and they're like,
Yeah,
"All right, we need to win this game," and that's what they did. And I think another person that had a heck of a game that we didn't really talk much, and he almost had an interception last night, was Andrew Van Gieko. He was all over the place last night too. He almost had that pick six
yeah,
and everything.
yeah,
And so a lot of guys stepped up, and I think Pace had a good game. Um, Dallas had a pretty decent game. Gennard almost had a couple sacks, all that stuff. So I I think we did really good. If we can keep what we did in the fourth quarter and we can do it against Atlanta, we're gonna be Atlanta on Sunday night. So
for sure. And I think with a more pocket passer, we would have had probably like 6, 7 sacks. But it was
yeah,
nice to see Hargrave get home twice. But I'm just looking at the Vikings, like the win probability that ESPN puts out on the charts. And within the, let's see, at the 134 mark left in the third quarter, Chicago had a 94.2% chance of winning the game. So it just kind of shows like the probability of us coming back and winning that was only 6% at that time, you know? So that's pretty crazy to think. But hey, that's why you play all 4 quarters of a football game. So you never know, and you don't let teams hang around. If Chicago would have been up by 27 points, 28 points, and would have capitalized on some of those drives, they went for it on fourth, or they went for it on that fourth play, and where they could have kicked the field goal. So it goes back to little things like that they could have done that they could have changed the outcome of this game completely. But end of the day, we won the game, and that's the thing that matters is that 1-0 in the win-loss record. So
Yeah, the game was ugly, but it's just like you said, it's a W in the win column. Yeah, like there was a lot of mistakes that they need to fix, and they got a week to fix it. It's like it's the beginning of the season. You're gonna have your mistakes. Everybody's gonna have their nerves. Everybody's gonna have their butterflies. I think they finally know what they can do, and they can come out Sunday, come out 2-0. So hopefully
yeah, for sure.
I hope that's what it is. It's not a primetime game. All that
Yeah,
stuff.
another quarterback battle in that rookie class
Yeah,
with Penix and McCarthy, so that'll be fun.
hopefully we have a doctor's appointment set up for Monday so we can get our blood pressure checked out. But
Hopefully, DC, if you had a doctor's appointment, you could just cancel it because hopefully we're kicking some butt on Sunday night.
yeah, and I think
Hopefully it's not another game like this because, geez, seems like every Vikings game is right down to the wire, man.
Okay, so you think, all right, for the Bears, you think
Yeah.
if they clean up their penalties
Mm-hmm.
and like that, and they put because they got Detroit Sunday, you think if
They do
clean
have
up,
Detroit Sunday.
yep, if they clean up their penalties, you think Chicago has a chance of beating Detroit on Sunday?
In the National Football League, I think a lot of these teams will have a good shot of, anything can happen on any given Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't think the talent difference between the Bears and the Lions is too far off. Where compared to like say if the Bears or Lions are playing like the Saints or one of those other bottom teams, maybe the Panthers or you know what I mean? Like I think the Bears are better. They're going to be a pretty solid football team this year. They're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
And it's all going to depending on turnovers and they're not turnovers, but penalties and them not beating themselves. So yesterday they kind of beat themselves and they kind of gave that game away, honestly.
Yeah, they did because with that missed
so like
throw.
we took that game from them. Like that should have been a win for them, but we found a way to win. So
Yeah.
if they would have not had so many penalties and they would have cleaned that up, we probably wouldn't be saying the same thing right now that we're 1-0 because they probably would have executed on some more drives and they would have put up some more points. So I still think the Lions would probably picking for my weekly picks, I picked the Lions because I think the Lions will respond after the Packers game with Campbell versus Ben Johnson as a new coach. They just had a very tough loss where they should have won.
Yeah.
So I would say I think the Lions are going to come on and win that. But I could see the Bears. I'm not going to say the Bears couldn't win, but I think the Lions win that game, especially being at home.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good game. Like I think the Lions are gonna come out as winner. But that's gonna be another battle, another division game like that. It's gonna be a battle for that one.
For sure, definitely. Well, yeah, I'm excited for to see what happens here. Week 2, the Vikes Atlanta. My prediction for the game is that we are going to walk away 2-0 on Sunday Night Football, and I think the offense is going to click a lot more, especially being at home right off the get-go. And the defense, I think they'll show up and feed off of the U.S. Bank Stadium audience. So I'm excited for that game. And yeah, my predictions, the Vikes, I think we're going to win like 20, maybe 20, no, I'm going to say 31-17. 17-20 or something like that. 31-20. I'll say that. I think the Vikes win 31-20 on Sunday. How about you?
I'm gonna go 28-21 Vikes.
Yeah, I definitely could see that too. It's probably gonna end up being a pretty close game. Atlanta's got a solid team, so.
But they might be out with their number one receiver too. Drake London just got hurt with Tampa Bay, but next guy steps up.
Yeah, they have some weapons and they have Bijan.
Oh yeah.
So, but hey, I'm excited to see what Penix does too. So, All right. Well, DC, do you have anything else for our listeners tonight?
No.
All right. Well, I think moving forward, we'll probably do like a new segment, maybe like a weekly segment that we'll do like a pick six or something like that, and see how we do for the games and all that, weekly pick'ems kind of. I think that would be kind of fun. Like we'll do our six the Nap Time Sports 6 for sure wins of the week or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that would be cool, and see how we do on that.
Yeah.
If we fall short or if we nail it.
And I think we should tally up the points at the end of the year and see who got the most points at the end.
Yeah, we should for sure. So I think we'll just go based on the schedule.
Yeah.
Just pick 6 games, and then 6 teams that you think are going to win. We'll just bring that to the next podcast. So
yeah,
I think that'll be a fun segment for our listeners to do too, and listen and follow along.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
And if anyone else, any of the listeners have any other ideas or different segments you think you'd like us to hear and try, send us a text message. Get a hold of us. So I think that would be fun to kind of do other things on the show too, as we expand the podcast, and we'll do the weekly podcast here to recap the games of the week. So probably take a bye, or on the bye week, we'll probably take that week off and things like that. But later on in the season, we'll talk some of the draft and get into that little echelon of how much I love the draft, DC, and you've grown to love the draft too. So I'm excited to talk about those players. Speaking of, I just want to talk about one guy. He's not in this draft class, but if you're watching college football, check this guy out for next year. A lot of people don't know who he is. His name's CJ Bailey for NC State. He reminds me a little bit of a young Lamar Jackson at Louisville. And check him out. They play Thursday night. So I know the Packers and Washington Commanders are playing, but NC State is playing too that night. And this kid's pretty good. I think he's a good quarterback prospect to watch out for not this year's draft, but the next year's draft. So
I might have to check him out.
Yeah, you should for sure. He runs like, according to, who knows if it's accurate on Google, but he's got some speed. Like according to that, he runs like a 4.2 40, which is pretty damn fast. So I don't know if he runs a 4.2, but he's pretty quick. And he's got a nice arm too. So
is he a freshman?
No, he's a sophomore.
And
the funny thing is, he's from Miami too, which is where Lamar Jackson's from. So,
oof. All right, I might have to check him out. Yeah,
look him up on or I'll send you. I have a little video clip that I made to send to someone else, so I'll send that to you. You can check him out.
Sweet.
So.
Yeah, heck yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. If you got to this point, thank you for listening to the weekly podcast, and we'll catch you next time. SKOL Vikes. Thank you for listening to our episode. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram and X at Naptime Sports Talk Podcast for content related to the pod. Thank you for the support.